The upcoming pre-season is one of the most anticipated ones in recent years. During this transfer window, the fans are going to get answers to the most burning questions. Clubs like Barcelona, Manchester United and Newcastle are obviously going to spend huge money to declare their ambitions for the upcoming season. At the same time, the market will be filled by players who may be available completely for free because their contracts with clubs expired. This video, presented by Goal24, is about top free agents of 2022 as per Transfermarkt. Their overall price is around €500 million. But before we start, we want you to take part in a small quiz. Which of these free agents was the most expensive player on Transfermarkt at the moment of his move? Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Manchester United; Jorginho Wijnaldum, PSG; Dani Alves, Juventus; Sergio Ramos, PSG. Write your answer in the comments and we get started. Alexandre Lacazette, €20 million. The Frenchman has been trying to leave Arsenal for several years already. As he moved in from Lyon in 2017, the forward hasn't met the expectations of the Gunners fans. His best result was in his debut season, when the player scored 14 goals in the Premier League. This was considered quite decent for the first season in England, but then the player stopped developing at all. Lacazette felt out of place at Emirates, that's why he was thinking about leaving the club several times. This summer, Alexandre has a chance to make another step in his career. It should be mentioned though that because of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's conflict with the head coach Mikel Arteta, Lyon's ex-forward had the trust of his manager and often played in the center of the attack. The only thing is that even after the Gabonese left for Barcelona, Lacazette was unable to cement his place in the first 11. By the end of the season, the Frenchman had ousted Edin Nketiah from the lineup, who by the way is also becoming a free agent. But despite the Englishman's 4 very important goals, Arsenal was unable to finish in the Champions League qualification zone. Lacazette could have contributed more to the Gunners' results, but now it is only a matter of guessing. Among the options of the 31-year-old forward are 2 clubs. It is reported that Juventus used to be interested once with Lacazette, but a more promising option is returning to his home club, Lyon, at which he became a Ligue 1 top scorer in 2015. By the way, the French side wants to bring back a couple of other ex-players, Corentin Tolisso and Samuel Umtiti, who are not in their best shape at Bayern and Barcelona. Well, we'll see how it all goes. Alessio Romagnoli, €20 million. As Kjaer got injured, the AC Milan captain started the season as a first-choice defender, but eventually he started suffering from injuries himself and was replaced by Pierre Kalulu. In the title-winning campaign, Romagnoli was capped 19 times and scored 1 goal, but most probably this season will be the last one for the player in the black and red shirt. He was unable to negotiate a new contract with the board. The sides are on different edges concerning the salary. Alessio wants to get more than the club offers, so Paolo Maldini, the technical director, has already told the captain that he can search for a new club this summer. Some time ago, the defender had many options for the development of his career, but now there's only one way: Lazio. A couple of years ago, the likes of Barcelona and Chelsea were interested in Romagnoli, but for now the Italian is in talks with only one club from his homeland, which isn't even a top 5 club in his country. Considering Alessio's roots, his possible move to Maurizio Sarri's team is a reason for speculation. The thing is that Romagnoli is a Roma Academy product, and now is going to transfer to their fierce rivals. However, if this transfer goes through, the Roman derby next year will be even hotter. Anyway, Romagnoli is only 27 now. Maybe moving to Lazio he will find his best shape. Jesse Lingard, €20 million. After a superb loan spell at West Ham last year, the Englishman unfortunately was unable to repeat that success at Old Trafford. From January to May 2021, the midfielder scored 9 goals and made 4 assists for the Hammers. These were twice the numbers Lingard had shown at Man United in half a year before that. This play helped David Moyes' team to become a Champions League spot contender. Gareth Southgate, the England head coach, could not ignore such a result and included the player in the long list for the Euro 2020. Though Lingard didn't make it into the team, we should admit that this was a recognition of his skills, considering the high competition in the national team. Returning to Man United this summer, Jesse played a lot from the bench, and these games were very different. For example, in the Champions League match against Young Boys, Lingard just gave away the victory to the Swiss club, making a very risky pass back. And in the away match against West Ham in the Premier League, he scored the winner, though he didn't celebrate the goal for obvious reasons. In winter, Jesse started having problems with playing time. The caretaker manager Ralf Rangnick blocked the player's move as he thought Lingard would add some options in the squad in case of a coronavirus outbreak. Newcastle and naturally West Ham were interested in Jesse, but the transfer just wasn't supposed to take place. This summer, the player has a chance to join one of these teams for free. Despite the warm feelings towards the Hammers and the great compatibility in playing style, Newcastle can lure the player with big money. For the Saudi sheikhs who bought the club, it is not a problem at all. James Tarkowski, 22 million euros. For several years already, this defender has been scouted by top clubs. Back in the days, the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United and Arsenal wanted to buy the player, and in 2020 the Times included him in the team of the most underrated players in the Premier League. Because of a huge price tag of 60 million euros set by Burnley, James hasn't been able to join a bigger club until now. Unlike the previous years, the fuss around Tarkowski has declined a little. In 2017, the player successfully replaced Michael Keane, who had moved to Everton, and James was often receiving good press for his high ratio of tackles won. But recently, new and more promising defenders came into the arena, while Tarkowski is turning 30 in November. This fact surely scares the top clubs who would prefer a more promising option to strengthen their defense. This season, James is doing his best to help Burnley avoid relegation, but despite the outcome, the player will leave the club by the end of the season. The Englishman's contract expires in June, and the club failed to negotiate the extension. In January, Newcastle was strongly interested in Tarkowski, but they preferred to wait till summer when they'll be able to sign him for free. Whichever club signs the player this summer, they will surely get a solid and experienced defender who can become a team leader pretty soon. Andrea Belotti, 28 million euros. After scoring 26 goals in Serie A in the 2016-17 season, the forward became one of the most wanted players on the transfer market. But the 80 million euros price tag set by Torino scared away the potential buyers who had doubts about the player's ability to adapt in a foreign championship. Having such players like Ciro Immobile, Simone Zaza and Alessio Cerci in front of their eyes, foreign clubs were dubious about signing a forward with Italian citizenship. While foreign teams were not ready to pay such a sum, the Serie A leaders simply didn't have such money. The only exception was Juventus, but they already had a multi-million Gonzalo Higuain. After the 2016-17 season, the forward's efficiency dropped. Since then, Andrea has been scoring at least 10 goals in the Italian Championship, but he's been struggling to get close to his best results. One of the reasons for that is Torino's inconsistent game. The Turin-based club can't play on a high level year after year. That's why the forward doesn't often have a chance to show his best qualities and score goals. The player's contract expires this summer. The main contenders for Belotti are reportedly Fiorentina and AC Milan. Recently, Rossoneri's interest has cooled down a bit, so the favorite in the race for his signature is Fiorentina, a club that was unable to replace Dusan Vlahovic properly. Well, wherever Belotti moves next season, he'll have to prove to the fans that he is a worthy player. Ousmane Dembélé, 30 million euros. This winter, a conflict broke out between the Barcelona board and the player, which made the club transfer list the player because he was rejecting all the offers to extend his contract. The midfielder, on the other hand, showed no intention to leave the Camp Nou before the time comes, as he would have lost a hefty sum of money. Dembélé could have been sent to the reserves for such a behavior, but Xavi decided to keep calm and talk to Usman. Their relations improved gradually, and the player had a great period in Barcelona this season. The Blaugrana won several important points and humiliated Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu 4-0. From January to April, the Frenchman made 9 assists in all competitions, and for a short period became the best assistant in Europe in 2022. Despite numerous rumors of his move to PSG and Chelsea, where his former coach from Borussia Dortmund Thomas Tuchel is waiting for him, Barcelona has some pretty good chances to extend the player's contract. Xavi declared many times that he wanted to keep Usman in the team. The newcomer Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also tried to convince Dembélé to stay, but despite all these efforts, the player is yet to make a final decision. Barcelona is intending to reduce the Frenchman's salary, and that's a very negative factor in the negotiations, as Dembélé is not going to lower his financial appetite. That's why other clubs can lure the midfielder with a high salary without paying a cent for his transfer. In this case, Barcelona is risking losing a player for whom they paid 140 million euros in 2017. Considering his wage too, during 5 seasons, Barcelona spent over 200 million euros on Dembélé. Antonio Rudiger and Andreas Christensen, 35 million euros. The story of expiring contracts of the Chelsea defenders was lasting throughout the whole season. Because of Rudiger's high wage demands, the club was not going to give in to the footballer, but by February, they had changed their mind and offered the German an agreement according to which he would have become the highest paid player at the club. Unfortunately, when the talks were in full swing, sanctions were imposed on the Blues. The club had no rights to buy, sell or extend the footballer's contract. Antonio was very patiently waiting while the situation with the new owner would become clearer. But time was passing and the process was not moving from the dead spot. Despite all his desire to stay, Rudiger's patience was over one day, and he came straight to the head coach's office. When Tony knocks at your door 1 hour before training, it is not a good sign. He said he wanted to leave and I was very disappointed. Throughout the season, Rudiger was in touch with clubs like Juventus, Bayern, Man United and Real Madrid. The latter ones were the only clubs ready to satisfy his financial demands and offer him a wage of 238,000 euros per week. Also, Los Blancos promised him to pay a signing-on fee of 10 million euros. Under Tuchel, Rudiger was one of the key players and a team leader in Chelsea locker room. That is why the Blues will surely regret they didn't extend his contract when they could. Another Chelsea defender, Andreas Christensen, was in a similar situation. The Danish footballer negotiated a contract in autumn, but at the very last moment he refused to sign it. Then he changed his agent and declared that he wanted to leave for a new challenge. Many top clubs wanted to sign the player, but Andreas told the Chelsea management that he was not going to negotiate a contract with other English clubs as a sign of respect. One of the options was to go back to Bundesliga, where he used to play for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Bayern was trying to get in touch with Christensen, but as they heard his wage demands, they backed down. In spring, many were talking about Andreas moving to Barcelona. These rumors were heeded in April by the Barcelona president Joan Laporta, as he told the press that the club had signed 2 footballers, one of which is a defender. The press came to a conclusion that Andreas was going to transfer to Camp Nou. Today Barcelona has some good defenders, Piqué, Araujo, Garcia, Langlais and Umtiti. We'll see if Christensen can be a competition for them. Paulo Dybala, 40 million euros. The forward openly told Juventus he is not going to extend his contract, which is expiring this summer. The reason is that the sides cannot agree over the salary. The Argentine wanted an agreement according to which he would earn as much as Matthijs de Ligt, 8 million euros per year. The old lady could not afford such a wage bill, so the negotiations stalled and the forward got mad with the board. The news of the inevitable move of their player was a shock for their fans, because after his move from Palermo in 2015, Dybala scored 115 goals in all competitions, and today he is the 10th best goal scorer in the club history, as much as Roberto Baggio himself. Talking about the 21st century, Dybala is the 3rd best here, behind Alessandro Del Piero and David Trezeguet. However, the player doesn't seem very interested in stats and history. While many foreign clubs, including Borussia Dortmund, Manchester United and Barcelona, are interested in the player, the Argentine prefers staying in Serie A and moving to Inter, the Juve rivals, as a free agent. The forward has been in talks with Nerazzurri for some time now and has told the Juve board that he wants to move to Giuseppe Meazza. Giorgio Perinetti, the former sporting director at Palermo, explained Dybala's desire to stay in Italy. He thinks that Paulo considers Serie A best fit for his attributes. He was never willing to move to the Premier League as he thought he wouldn't be able to adapt to the local style. Anyway, Dybala's move to Inter seems inevitable now. Recently, a Juve fan met Dybala in his car, asked him to sign a shirt and told him not to move to Inter. In reply, Dybala only smiled and drove away. Franck Kessié, 45 million euros. The Ivorian has made away from an average player to an AC Milan team leader. He is very helpful for the team in the midfield. Just like Çalhanoğlu a year before, Frank denied a new contract from the club and declared that he was going to leave. The main reason is of course money. Rossoneri offered him 6.5 million euros per year, while the player demanded 8. Some sources even stated that Kessié would follow the steps of his former teammate Çalhanoğlu and would join Milan's fierce rivals, Inter. This deal was quite possible, but the negotiations stalled and the deal failed. But hardly the AC Milan fans feel better. Well, surely the Ivorian will not move to the fierce rivals, but losing a very important player who helped winning the Scudetto is very sad, to say the least. The rumor has it that the main contender for Kessié's signature is Barcelona. When in spring Joan Laporta, the Blaugrana president, told the press about signing a midfielder and a defender, most probably he was talking about Christensen and Kessié. This is a guess, of course, though many sources, including Fabrizio Romano, confirmed that the move of these players to Camp Nou is a done deal. The Ivorian is only 25. It will be interesting to see how he develops under the Barcelona manager Xavi. Paul Pogba, 55 million euros. Pogba moved to Manchester in summer 2016 for a transfer fee of 105 million euros. Since then, the Frenchman has many times regretted this decision. Constant criticism from the fans and conflicts with coaches did not allow him to fulfill his potential and get closer to the game he had been showing in Juventus. The fans were blaming the player for having more haircuts during the season than efficient actions on the pitch. But the main reason for Paul's departure is elsewhere. The midfielder is dubious about the club's ambitions and he doesn't think that Red Devils are real contenders to win serious titles. Once he even said, "Frankly, I've had some hard times, especially at Man United. Playing for the national teams makes me happy. I want to win trophies, to play for something. But United won nothing neither this year nor in the previous years. This is very sad." These words made the United fans even more furious as they blame Pogba for failed seasons. However, the Frenchman now has several options to choose from. Among others, PSG, Real Madrid and Juventus are interested in signing the player. Some say that Paul wants to go back to Turin, but the old lady are not ready to pay him a big salary. For now, the most possible option is Paris, because that's the club that can offer him the most lucrative deal. But whichever club Pogba chooses, it's going to be very difficult for him to find his best shape at the age of 29. There are many different reasons why free agents leave their clubs. Someone wants more money, someone wants to move to a more competitive team, and someone wants to make his dreams come true. Certainly, this transfer window is going to be a memorable one, especially after the coronavirus crisis has passed. And which transfer do you anticipate the most? Let us know in the comments. See you soon!